All right, we're back. We're looking at lakka. I don't know. Is that what it is? Lakka. It's France, lightweight Linux distribution that transforms a small computer into a full-blown game console. The distribution is based on Libre Elec and runs the RetroArch console emulator. Lakka is capable of running a variety of hardware, including personal computers, Raspberry Pi boards, and Wii Tech Play devices. Um, let's see. 40 hits per day for popularity. Homepage Lakka TV. Open source game console, lightweight Linux distribution that transforms a small computer into a full blown retro gaming console. Okay. Powerful, built on top of the famous RetroArch emulator, which, by the way, I have had trouble really getting to work correctly. Lakka is able to emulate a wide variety of systems and has some useful features such as automatic joypad recognition, rewinding, net play, and shaders. It says it is user friendly, easy to set up. Once installed on your SD card or flash drive, you just have to copy your ROMs on the device, power up the rig, and plug your joypad and enjoy your favorite games. Okay, so obviously low cost, it says. Um, on a Raspberry Pi, Lakka is the easiest way to set up emulators on a Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is very affordable. Single board computer is powerful enough to emulate most retro consoles. Sorry guys, I'm getting tired here. The Nintendo NES, Sega Genesis, Sony PlayStation, or arcade games. Um, Beginners can buy a Raspberry Pi with pre-flashed Noobs SD card online and set up Lakka using Noobs. I've never heard of that. There are many cases available with Lakka. You can just customize your setup. Hey, let's take a look at Noobs. Noobs! Noobs. Raspberry Pi. Download for Windows. You know, one thing I don't like about the Raspberry Pis is they went up so much in cost that I can totally find cheaper stuff that does better. Anyway, so that's this stuff here. Let's see. Get Lakka. So you can get it for Windows, you can get it for Linux. Well, wait. Why would I want to get it for either one? Isn't it its own system? What OS are you using right now? We'll go Windows. On which hardware do you want to install it? Pi 02W. Dude, that would be pretty freaking cool. So maybe I will try this later on a Pi 02W. So I've got one right now, but it runs my ham clock. And yeah, so it runs the one that's actually on my capture card. Let's see, Raspberry Pi 2, Pi 3, Pi 4, Pi 5. A Pi boy! I've never heard of that. Generic PC. Odroid. Ambernick. I have one that looks like that. Ambernick. Odroid. A Rock Chip. An All-Winner. An AM Logic. And I haven't heard of half of these. Which hardware do I want to install it on? Generic PC, I would guess. So you get 64-bit CPU, AMD, Intel GPU. What's the difference between Wayland and GMB? This step is independent of your OS choice. The download image can be used for any OS. However, The image is specific to the target hardware, and the name should reflect it. Oh my god, I need my coffee, man. Okay, so we have Wayland X11 GMB or GBM, and then 32-bit AMD NVIDIA GPU. So with this one here, I don't know. I mean, it would depend on which one I would want to run it on. I would actually really rather probably run it on a Pi, but 64-bit. I'm not using AMD. Okay, so these are all for AMD with an Intel GPU. And then this one is 64-bit AMD Intel NVIDIA GPU, comma, AMD Intel GPU, AMD Intel GPU. This doesn't make sense. AMD Intel GPU, AMD Intel GPU. Alright, well, I'm not going to download this one just because I don't know which one I would want to put it on, but I'll let you guys check it out. And I think if you look up their website, it's lakka.tv, get Windows. Yeah, www.lakka.tv/gets/Windows/. So check it out. Maybe try it out. I'll have to decide what hardware I would put this on. I don't want to just download it at this moment. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of an interesting one. You can find it on the distro watch too, and read about it and see what other requirements they talk about. So, yep, I'll come back to it later. But for now, I'll catch you guys later in the next video.